Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Brandon Figliolino, and I am the Senior Specialist for Community Engagement here at RTD. I am joined by my colleague, Dan Merritt, with Service Planning, and we are going to talk to you about the proposed service changes for May 2023. Before we begin, I do have some housekeeping items. Please make sure that you are muted unless you are in the open comment period and have been called on to ask your question. This reduces background noise and the shuffling of papers and errant construction work and things like that. You can drop your comments or questions directly into the chat if you do not want to raise your hand to speak. When we have our open comment period at the end of the session, if you do wish to speak, there is a raise hand feature at the very top bar next to the chat box. And once you click that button, I can call on you to unmute and ask your question. And if you are calling on a phone number, you can also press *6 to virtually raise your hand, and I'll call on you based on the last 4 digits of your phone number. I do want to provide a few quick updates for you before we get into the proposed service changes. We are currently undergoing our fair study and equity analysis, which has been a very long process and very engaged one. We have our draft proposal to our board of directors, and they are currently reviewing it. And we will be coming back out to the public in May to get more feedback on the proposed changes to our fare structure. We're really excited to present these to everybody and get feedback and suggestions on it before it goes to the board for final approval in the summertime. So stay tuned for that. We have also been undertaking our Northwest Rail Peak Service Study. We've hosted 4 pop-up events as well as 2 different open houses to gather feedback on the proposed on the peak service study and getting feedback on that project itself. In terms of safety and security, our RTD Transit Police has been hard at work hiring new staff. We are hoping to increase our transit police force to 70 individuals by the end of the year. And then RTD has been out and about in the community. We have participated in the National Western Stock Show as well as the MLK Parade in January, and also supported the Winter Bike to Work Day just last week. I will now pass it over to my colleague Dan Merritt to talk about proposed service changes.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you all for joining us on this chilly day. Okay, we're doing some minor service adjustments coming up with the new service change. These are just small changes that will increase on-time performance, ensure compliance with the collectively bargained agreement with the Amalgamated Transit Union, and eliminating some gate conflicts. These changes will be on the Route 0, the 3 Limited, the 28, the 32, the 52, the 72, the 169, the 169L, and the Bolt. Just some very small, simple little changes. We're also going to be doing some school and college schedule adjustments. We don't run our school trippers in the summer. That would be wasted service, wasted man hours. So we're just turning things down for the summer. They'll be back in the fall. These are on Route 11, Route 20, Route 30, Route 51, Route 65, and Route 73. And then we'll also be doing some changes up in Boulder with the student body at the college being a smaller group. We'll be turning down the dash, the jump, the skip, the NB 1 and 2, since people aren't going up to the ski resort as much, and the 225. Now our next changes are some of our bigger changes. These are in line with our system optimization plan, which is RTD's 5-year plan for improving service and increasing ridership. This plan aims to rebalance service with demand and resource availability. As you all know, we do have an operator shortage still. This plan received 1,600 comments, and everyone was wanting more frequent service and new routes. Of course, that's what we all want, as a very robust network. The board of directors adopted this in July of 2022, and we're now working towards bringing it to fruition. On the Route 10, which serves East 12th Avenue, we will be expanding service east to Colfax Avenue and Billings Street via 11th Avenue and Peoria Street. We'll be staying at a 60-minute headway frequency. And we'll terminate the route on the western end over at Union Station. These changes are being implemented to address ongoing concerns that Route 10 return east of Claremont Street and provide greater access to Title VI populations on who are more likely to rely on RTD services. This also keeps us in compliance with the union's collectively bargained agreement, allowing our operators to have restroom facility access. Routes 34 and 38 are going to be merged into one route. This is also partially motivated due to restroom compliance with the CBA. And we'll also be trying to serve the population through downtown and East Denver and West Denver better through creating this connection. We will be eliminating 2 stops. Oh, if you could go back real quick, Brandon, thank you. We'll be eliminating 2 stops that are on Bruce Randolph Avenue and Fillmore Street, but the impact will be very minimal because the distances are less than 1/10 of a mile apart from the next stop. Okay, thank you. Routes FF2 and FF5 will both be being brought back. We'll be adding 3 eastbound trips from downtown Boulder Station, 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and 3 westbound trips from Union Station, 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Having these 6 trips will help address demand for peak commute times. And Route FF5 is being reinstated as well, with a 6:30 a.m. eastbound trip from downtown Boulder Station to Anschutz campus. And we'll shift the 7:30 a.m. westbound trip from Anschutz to 7:50 to improve connections into Boulder. So adding these additional trips is just an attempt to try and address our load and capacity needs better. We'll be adding a flex ride. We'll be creating a new on-demand service for North Broomfield. It will operate weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this will provide alternate transportation for people that were impacted by the discontinuation of Route 128. We'll be making some minor rail service changes, just some schedule adjustments to increase on-time performance for Route N and Route R. And then we'll be expanding service span and reducing frequency during low ridership periods to increase the duration of service and expand connections to other services for these lines, the D, the E, the H, and the W line. And we're here to listen, as always. We would love to hear any input or feedback that you have on these proposals. Today is the final day to submit comments. If something needs to be a little bit later, we will do everything we can to factor that in, though, because we know it is a tight deadline. We have a phone number of 303-299-2004. We have the email address of service.changes@rtd-denver.com. And there's a fax number as well if anyone is still using faxes. And these service adjustments will go into effect on May 28th, 2023. At this point, I'll pass it back over to Brandon.
Awesome, Dan. Thank you so much. So if you have a question, you can select the raise hand feature to get in the queue, and I'll call you your name and you can ask your question. You can also type it in the chat if you don't want to ask it verbally. Deborah, you've got a question for us.
Actually, it's a comment.
Awesome.
Yes, so I'm with the city of Westminster, and I am thrilled to see the restoration of 6 trips on the FF2 because it'll relieve the overcrowding on the FF1, and also the very important restoration of the F5 service. So thank you so much for that.
Awesome, Deborah. Thank you so much for the comments. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There is a question in the chat. Any thoughts on bringing back the FF4 at the same time as the FF2 schedule? There's an impact to those commuting from Union Station to the other end of downtown. Dan, are you able to speak to that?
I'm going to let Natalie handle that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Yes, at this point, unfortunately, due to the operator shortage, we're not able to do that yet. but we do have it on the list, and as soon as the resources become available, and we know there's demand. Just right now, it is not enough. There are other areas within the district that have higher demands that we need to address first, but it is on the list, and as soon as we can, we will look to start adding.
Thank you, Natalie. Another question in the chat is there any information about the Metro ride coming back? Is there anyone from service planning that's able to speak to that?
I can speak on that one, Brandon. And once again, it is due to the operator shortage that we just do not have the operators for that at this time. We will hope to be bringing it back as soon as possible. It is part of our future plans at RTD. We still have a bus fleet that is entirely purchased just for that route. So the hope is there. We will do it when we can.
Excellent. We've got another question in the chat. Does it seem possible that the FF4 will come back with the next round of service changes, or is it too early to say when the operator shortage will turn around?
Unfortunately, we all wish we had that crystal ball. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't know. We're not sure what we're going to be able to do with August or even thereafter. The shortage is still pretty significant. You know, all our fingers and toes are crossed, and hopefully we can keep adding with the next couple of upwards.
And we are actively recruiting for operators and other staff. If you are interested or you know someone who is looking for work, you can visit our website, rtd-denver.com/careers. Many of the job openings that are available also come with a hiring bonus as an incentive to join our organization. Are there any other questions or hands raised? So again, you are more than, oh yes, we've got a question from Eric. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Brandon. I just had a question about the line 10 slide. I might have misread it, but is the proposal to continue it east through 11th, through Aurora, around the Delmar Circle? Or Delmar Circle? Is that what says in the system optimization plan? Is that what's shown here? Just kind of.
Hi, Eric. Yes. Hi, I'm Mo Sullivan, Senior Service Planner and Scheduler for the East team. So yes, good question. I agree it is a little confusing. So the plan, yes, is to extend it east via 11th Avenue, and then it'll go north up Peoria, and then take a right, go east down Colfax, and terminate at Colfax and Billings. The system optimization plan initially had this route extending east to Delmar Circle. However, when we looked into that, there was not, we didn't have the access to the operator, like an available restroom for our operators at that terminal as we had in the past. And so we had to kind of re-examine how to be able to provide this service further east. And so this is the solution we've come up with. So the red indicates the portions of the route that will be discontinued. But the blue and green indicate either portions that are currently running or were proposed to run as of May 2023.
Okay, great. Thank you for the explanation. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Eric. We also have a question in the chat about FlexRide. Will the expansion of FlexRide in Broomfield still have a $3, still be $3 for every 3 hours?
Don't believe we have Aaron with us here today. As far as I know, there are no proposed changes to the FlexRide fare at this time, other than I know that we are going through a fare discussion at this point. But that would be system-wide. This won't be any different than anything else in the system, I don't believe. Natalie?
It's my understanding too that it is an extension of the current Broomfield FlexRide. So whatever Broomfield has set up in regards to fares, which might be different from RTD, would apply.
Thank you for that additional information.
Excellent. Are there any other questions or comments that people would like to share? Awesome. Well, we value your feedback, and you can connect with us anytime, as Dan said, to have your comments submitted in the board packet for review. We do need them by close of business this evening, but you can reach out to us at any time to ask questions or share your feedback or concerns. You can email service.changes@rtd-denver.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 303-299-2004. Or as Dan said, if you have access to a fax machine, you're welcome to fax over your comments as well. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.